The stars outside the window were beautiful. Gina had always thought so. But now, those same stars were blocked by the dark shapes of enemy warships. 47 of them. They floated in the darkness like hungry animals waiting for their meal. Gina stood on the observation deck of Kepler Station. She was the commander here. It was her job to protect everyone. But how could she protect anyone against 47 warships? The station was built for research, not war. Their shields were made to stop small rocks, not weapons. 11 days. The Veth Dominion fleet had surrounded them for 11 days. Commander Park. A young man walked up to her. His name was Kim Tai-ho, and he was her communications officer. His face looked tired and scared. Still no answer from Earth Command. The Veth ships are blocking all our signals. Our last message went out 8 days ago. We do not know if anyone heard it. Gina closed her eyes for a moment. Earth was very far away. 47 light years. Even if someone heard their cry for help, could they come in time? She did not think so. How are the people? She asked. Scared, Tai-ho said honestly. But they are holding together. Dr. Yoon is helping keep everyone calm. Dr. Yoon Hana was the station's head scientist. She studied alien life forms. She was also one of the kindest people Gina had ever known. Even now, when death waited outside their windows, Hana was probably telling jokes to frighten children. The station held 2,300 people. Scientists who wanted to study the strange stars of this system. Engineers who kept everything running. Families who had come to start new lives among the stars. Children who played in the hallways and dreamed of exploring space. None of them had come here to die. A soft beeping sound came from Tai-ho's tablet. He looked at it, and his face grew pale. They are calling us again, Commander. Same message as before. Gina knew what the Veth wanted. They had made their demands very clear. Surrender the station. Give them all research data about the Kepler anomaly. Accept Veth rule. Anyone who said no would be thrown into space without a suit. The Kepler anomaly was something the scientists had found 6 months ago. A strange energy reading deep in the system. They did not fully understand it yet, but the Veth wanted it badly. Whatever it was, Gina knew it must be important. Important enough that the Veth sent 47 warships to get it. Do not answer them, Gina said. Let them wait. She walked away from the window and headed to the engineering section. The hallways were dim. They had cut power to many areas to save energy for the shields. People sat in small groups along the walls. Some were crying quietly. Others just stared at nothing. A little girl ran up to Gina and grabbed her hand. Commander Park, are we going to be okay? Gina knelt down to look at the child. She had big eyes and messy hair. She could not be older than 6 or 7. What is your name? Gina asked. Sua. Well, Sua, I want you to know something. Everyone on this station is working very hard to keep you safe. Can you be brave for me? The little girl nodded slowly. Good. Now go find your mother. And remember, being scared is okay. Even I get scared sometimes. Sua gave a small smile and ran off. Gina stood up and continued walking. Her heart felt heavy. She had just lied to a child. She did not know if they would be okay. She did not know if any of them would survive. In engineering, she found Chief Han Sung-woo. He was an older man with gray hair and hands covered in burns from coolant leaks. He had not slept in 2 days. His team worked around him, fixing machines and rerouting power. Chief Han, report, Gina said. Sung-woo wiped sweat from his forehead. Not good, Commander. The shields are losing power. We have maybe 2 days left. 3 if we shut down more sections. But if we do that, people will start getting cold and hungry. Do what you can. Every hour matters. Yes, Commander. He paused and looked at her with tired eyes. "Do you think help is coming?" Gina did not answer. She could not answer. Because the truth was simple and terrible. Earth was too far. Their ships were too slow. No one was coming. She returned to the command center. Taiho was there, along with several other officers. They all looked at her, waiting for orders. Waiting for hope. "Listen to me," Gina said. "I will not lie to you. Our situation is bad. Very bad. The Veth are stronger than us. Faster than us. There are more of them. And help from Earth." She paused. Help from Earth may not arrive in time. The room was silent. But we are not going to give up. We are not going to surrender. Do you know why? Because there are 2,300 people on this station who are counting on us. Families, children, people who came here to learn and explore and build a better future. The Veth want to take that away from them. I say no. She looked at each person in the room. We will hold this station, not because we think we will win, but because giving up means letting the Veth have something that could hurt millions of people across the galaxy. We hold because it is the right thing to do. We hold because that is who we are. Taiho straightened his back. "What are your orders, Commander?" "Ration all supplies. Move civilians to the intersections where the walls are thickest. Have security teams patrol to keep everyone calm. And keep trying to send messages. Maybe one will get through. Maybe someone will hear us." The officers nodded and went to work. Gina walked back to the observation window. The Veth ships were still there, dark and patient. They knew they had won. They were just waiting for the station to fall. But Gina was not ready to fall. Not yet. She put her hand on the cold glass and looked out at the stars. "Come on," she whispered to the universe. "Someone, anyone, please." The universe did not answer. Only silence and the cold light of distant suns. Day 11 ended. Day 12 began. And the siege continued. They thought no help was coming until the Titan-class human warship thundered into Viewport 2 Day 14. Hope had become a memory. The station shook again. Another reminder shot from the Veth fleet. They did this every few hours. Not enough to break the shields, but enough to shake the walls. Enough to remind everyone inside that death was waiting just outside Dot in the medical bay. Nurse Choi Minji worked without rest. Her patients were not sick or injured in the normal way. They were broken by fear. Children who could not sleep. Adults who stared at walls and did not speak. Old people who had given up eating. A mother brought her son to Minji. The boy was maybe 5 years old. His eyes were red from crying, and his small body was shaking. "He will not stop screaming at night," the mother said. Her voice was flat and empty. She had no more tears left. "Every time the station shakes, he thinks the monsters are coming." Minji knelt in front of the boy. "Hey, there. What is your name?" "June," the boy whispered. "June, that is a nice name. Can I tell you a secret?" She leaned close. "I get scared too when the walls shake. But you know what I do? I close my eyes and think about my favorite food." "What is your favorite food?" "Ice cream," June said quietly. "Ice cream. That is a good one. So next time you feel scared, close your eyes and think about the biggest bowl of ice cream you have ever seen. Can you do that?" The boy nodded. Minji gave him a small piece of candy from her pocket. It was the last one she had. She had been saving it for herself, but the boy needed it more. After they left, Minji sat down heavily on a chair. She looked at her hands. They were shaking. She was not as brave as she pretended to be. In the security center, Sergeant Baek Do-hyun checked his team. 32 officers. That was all he had. 32 people with small weapons meant for breaking up fights, not fighting wars. Against the Veth, they would last maybe 5 minutes. But that was not their job right now. Their job was to keep order, to patrol the halls, to make people feel safe, even when they were not safe at all. Listen up, Diane told his team. I know you are tired. I know you are scared. But the people out there are more scared than us. When they see us walking around, looking strong and calm, it helps them. So we are going to keep walking. Keep smiling. Keep telling everyone that things will be okay. Understood? Yes, Sergeant, his team answered together. Do-hyun nodded. Good. Now get out there. His team left, spreading out through the station. Do-hyun stayed behind for a moment. He pulled out a small photo from his pocket. It showed a woman and a baby girl. His wife and daughter back on Earth. He had not seen them in 8 months. I am sorry, he said to the photo. I do not think I am coming home. He put the photo away and went back to work. In engineering, Chief Han Sung-woo was fighting a losing battle. The port shield generator was dying. It made bad sounds. Sparks flew from broken wires. Coolant leaked onto the floor, making everything slippery. His assistant, Lee Yuna, ran up to him. She was young, maybe 25, and this was her first posting. Bad luck to start your career at the end of the world. Chief, the generator is at 30%. If it drops any lower, the shields on that side will fail. I know, Sung-woo shouted. Then he took a breath and spoke more softly. I know. Just give me time. Find me parts. Find me anything. There's nothing left to find. We have used everything. Sung-woo looked at the broken machine. 20 years he had worked as an engineer. He had fixed things that everyone said could not be fixed. But this time, he was out of ideas. Then we pray, he said quietly. We pray that the shields hold long enough for something. Yuna looked at him. For what, Chief? He did not have an answer. On the command deck, Commander Park Jina sat alone. Everyone else was resting or working. She had sent them all away. She needed a moment to think. A moment to breathe. She pulled up the recording system on her console. A small red light told her it was on. This is Commander Park Jina of Kepler Station, she said. If anyone receives this message, I want you to know the truth about what happened here. She paused, gathering her thoughts. We are under attack by the Veth Dominion. They want our research on the Kepler anomaly. We believe this anomaly may be a source of great power. If the Veth get it, they could use it to hurt many innocent people. Many worlds. Many species. Her voice grew stronger. We have decided not to surrender. Not because we are brave. Not because we want to die. We just know that some things are more important than our own lives. If we give the Veth what they want, millions might suffer. We cannot allow that. She looked out the window at the enemy ships. To anyone listening, please remember us. Remember that we had a choice. We could have opened the doors and let them in. We could have saved ourselves. But we chose to stand. We chose to burn. She turned off the recording and saved the file. Maybe someone would find it someday. Maybe they would understand. The station shook again. Harder this time. Taeho rushed onto the deck. Commander, the Veth are charging their main weapons. They are done waiting. Gina stood up fast. How long? Minutes. Maybe less. So this was it. The end. She had always wondered how she would face death. Now she knew. She would face it standing up. All hands, she announced over the station speakers. This is Commander Park. The Veth are about to attack with full force. I want to thank each and every one of you for your courage, for your strength. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve alongside you. She took a deep breath. Whatever happens next, remember who we are. We are human. We do not give up. We do not surrender. We stand until we cannot stand anymore. Brace for impact." She closed the channel and looked at Taiho. The young man was crying, but he stood straight and tall. "It was good serving with you, Commander," he said. "Same to you, Lieutenant." They turned to face the window. Outside, the Veth weapons were glowing bright, ready to fire. Ready to end everything. And then, without warning, space itself began to tear apart. They thought no help was coming, until the Titan-class human warship thundered into view Part 3 on the Veth flagship. Warmaster Krath watched the human station with cold eyes. He had conquered 11 species in his lifetime. He had destroyed worlds. He had made entire civilizations bow before the Dominion. And now, he was being made to wait by a tiny group of soft, weak humans. 11 days. 11 days they had held out. It was insulting. "Warmaster," his tactical officer said, "the humans are still not responding to our demands." "Of course they are not," Krath growled. His voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. "They think someone is coming to save them. They think their Earth will send ships. Fools. Earth is too far. Their ships are too slow. No one is coming." He stood up from his command chair. His body was massive, covered in thick gray skin and old battle scars. "I am done waiting. Charge all weapons. Target the station. Destroy it." The tactical officer looked nervous. "Warmaster, if we destroy it completely, we may lose the research data we came for. Then we will dig it from the wreckage. I do not care anymore. These humans have tested my patience long enough. Burn them." "Yes, Warmaster." Across the Veth fleet, weapons began to power up. 47 ships aimed their guns at one small station. Enough firepower to crack a moon. Against the station's weak shields, it would be like using a hammer to crush an ant. On Kepler Station, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed everywhere. People held their loved ones and prayed to whatever gods they believed in. Commander Park Gina stood on the command deck. She watched the enemy ships light up with deadly energy. This was it. The final moment. "All hands, brace for impact," she said calmly. There was no fear in her voice now. She had moved past fear into something else. Acceptance, maybe. Or peace. Lieutenant Kim Taiho stood beside her. Tears ran down his face, but he did not wipe them away. He just stared straight ahead. In the medical bay, Nurse Choi Minji gathered the children around her. She started singing a soft song, a lullaby her mother used to sing to her. The children listened, their scared faces becoming a little calmer. In engineering, Chief Han Sung-woo put his arm around Lee Yuna. The young woman was shaking. "It is okay," he told her. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Sergeant Baek Do-hyun stood at attention near the main viewport. He held the photo of his wife and daughter against his heart. "I love you," he whispered. "I will see you again someday." The Veth fired .40-7 ships released their weapons at once. A wave of death flew toward the station. Plasma bolts, energy beams, missiles, enough destruction to end everything in one terrible second. And then the universe cracked open. Between the station and the incoming attack, space itself tore apart. A hole appeared in reality. Not a hole of darkness, but a hole of light. Blinding, impossible light. The Veth weapons flew into that light and simply disappeared. Swallowed. Gone. Everyone on the station stared in shock. What was happening? The hole in space grew larger. Something was coming through. Something massive. First came the bow. Black metal, darker than the void around it. Sharp angles and hard edges. Then came the body. Bigger and bigger, pushing through the tear in reality like a beast emerging from its cave. The ship was 2 kilometers long. 2,000 meters of war machine. Its surface was covered with weapons. Hundreds of them. Railguns, plasma cannons, missile tubes. And at the very front, something massive and terrifying. A weapon so large, it seemed impossible. The ship's running lights came on, white and blue. And on its hull, painted in letters the size of buildings, was a name, HSS Eternal Dawn. And below that, a symbol every human knew by heart. The blue and green circle of Earth, the flag of the Terran Navy. Gina's legs gave out. She grabbed the console to keep from falling. Her breath came in short gasps. She could not believe what she was seeing. That is, Taiho whispered, that is a Titan-class warship. Titan-class. The biggest ships humanity had ever built. Most people thought they were just stories. Legends to make humans feel safe in a dangerous galaxy. But here one was real and solid and impossibly huge. On the Veth flagship, War Master Kroth stared at his view screen. His mouth hung open. For the first time in his long life, he felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. What? What is that thing? His tactical officer stammered. Kroth did not answer. He was reading the sensor data. Power readings that went off the scale. Weapon systems that his computer could not even identify. Shields so strong they made the Veth fleet look like toys. His communications panel lit up. An incoming message. Veth Dominion forces. A human voice filled the bridge. It was a woman's voice, calm and cold as ice. This is Admiral Kang Jie of the Terran Navy, commanding the HSS Eternal Dawn. On the station, Gina rushed to her communications console. The same message was playing there. You have attacked a civilian research station. You have threatened 2,300 non-combatants, including 847 children. You have fired upon a Terran installation. The Eternal Dawn turned slowly, presenting its full side to the Veth fleet. Row after row of weapon ports opened. The massive bow weapon began to glow with terrible light. Admiral Kang's voice dropped lower, colder, deadlier. You have one chance to withdraw. Take it. Gina was crying now. Not from fear or sadness, but from something else entirely. Relief, joy, all mixed together until she could not tell them apart. She looked at Taiho. The young officer was laughing and crying at the same time. They came, he said. Commander, they actually came. They came, Gina repeated, her voice breaking. They came. Across the station, the news spread like fire. People rushed to viewports to see the impossible ship. Cheers erupted in every section. Strangers hugged each other. Children pointed at the Titan-class warship and asked if it was an angel dot in the medical bay. Minji stopped singing. Little June tugged at her sleeve. Nurse Minji, what is that big ship? Minji smiled through her tears. That, June, is hope. That is our people coming to take us home. The boy looked at the massive warship and smiled for the first time in 2 weeks. Hope had arrived. They thought no help was coming, until the Titan-class human warship thundered into Viewport 4, Admiral Kang. Jie stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dawn. She was 62 years old. Her black hair had streaks of gray. A long scar ran from her temple to her jaw, a gift from a battle fought 20 years ago. Her eyes were sharp and cold, the eyes of someone who had seen too much death and learned to make peace with it. Admiral, her communications officer said. Kepler Station is responding. Put them through. The face of Commander Park Gina appeared on the screen. The woman looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes. Dirt on her uniform. But her eyes were bright with tears of joy. Admiral Kang. I do not know what to say. We thought no one was coming. We thought we were going to die. Kang allowed herself a small smile. Sorry we are late, Commander. Traffic was bad. Gina let out a laugh that was half sob. How? How did you get here so fast? Earth is 47 light years away. Our fastest ships would take months. Our fastest normal ships, Tang corrected. The Eternal Dawn is not normal. We have an experimental slip space drive. It lets us fold space, jump across distances that should take months in just hours. We burned 6 years worth of fuel to get here. Worth every drop. 6 years of fuel? We can worry about getting home later. Right now, we have work to do. How is your station? Damaged but holding. Our shields are about to fail. Medical supplies are low. People are scared but alive. Good. We are sending shuttles now. Medical teams, engineers, food and water. Just hold on a little longer. Admiral. Gina's voice broke. Thank you. Thank you for coming. That is what we do, Commander. That is what humans do. We take care of our own. Kang closed the channel and turned to face her bridge crew. 50 officers, the best in the fleet. At the weapons console sat Captain Oh Junsu, a young man with steady hands and calm eyes. He was the best gunner Kang had ever worked with. Report, she ordered. 47 Veth warships, Admiral, Junsu said. No movement yet. They seem to be in shock. I imagine they are. Have they responded to our warning? Not yet. Kang nodded slowly. She walked to the main viewport and looked out at the Veth fleet. They looked small from here. Tiny boats floating near a whale. Did they understand what they were facing? Did they know what was about to happen to them? Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the Veth flagship. On screen, War Master Krath appeared. He had recovered from his shock. His face was hard and angry, his eyes burning with hatred. Human Admiral, he growled. Your ship is impressive, but you are alone. One ship against 47. You think you can defeat us? Kang stood perfectly still. Her face showed nothing. War Master, I gave you a chance to leave. Are you refusing? The Veth Dominion does not run from anyone. We have conquered 11 species. We have crushed 100 worlds. One big ship will not scare us away. I see. Kang turned to face her crew. Well, you heard him. Raise shields. Power all weapons. And tell the kitchen to start making coffee. This will be quick, but I still want my coffee after. A few crew members laughed nervously. Krath's face turned darker with rage. You dare laugh at me? At the Veth Dominion? All ships, attack. Destroy that human vessel. Show them the price of their arrogance. The transmission cut off. On the view screen, the Veth fleet began to move. Ships formed into attack formations. Weapons charged. 47 warships flew toward the Eternal Dawn like a swarm of angry insects. They are firing, Admiral, Junsu reported calmly. Hundreds of weapons unleashed at once. Plasma bolts, missiles, energy beams. A storm of destruction heading straight for the Titan-class ship. Shields holding at 98%, the tactical officer reported. 97%. 96%. Kang watched the numbers drop slowly. Very slowly. The Veth were throwing everything they had at her ship, and the shields barely noticed. Disappointing, she said quietly. She waited. The Veth kept firing. The shields kept holding. After 2 full minutes of constant attack, the shields had dropped to 89%. At this rate, the Veth could fire for hours and not break through. Admiral, they are getting closer. Preparing for close-range combat. Let them come. Kang turned to Junsu. Captain, are all weapons ready? Yes, Admiral. Railguns charged. Plasma lances at full power. Mass driver loaded. Good. Kang walked back to her command chair and sat down. She crossed her legs and folded her hands. Light them up. Junsu smiled. His fingers danced across the weapons console. The Eternal Dawn came alive. Railguns fired first. Each gun sent a metal slug at incredible speed. The slugs hit Veth ships and punched straight through. In and out. Clean holes through engine rooms and bridges and fuel tanks. 3 ships exploded in the first second. Then the plasma lances activated. Beams of superheated energy swept across the Veth formation. Smaller ships did not explode. They simply stopped existing. Turned to vapor in an instant. The Veth tried to fight back. They fired faster, flew closer, attacked from all sides. It did not matter. The Eternal Dawn's shields held. The Eternal Dawn's weapons did not miss. 10 ships destroyed. Then 15. Then 20. Warmaster Krath screened orders on his bridge. Concentrate fire on their engines. Target their weapons. Do something. Nothing worked. Warmaster, his tactical officer shouted. The humans are charging their main weapon. The big one at the front of the ship. Krath looked at his view screen. The massive bow weapon of the Eternal Dawn was glowing brighter and brighter. Building power. Getting ready to fire. For the first time in his life, Warmaster Krath made a decision based on fear. All ships retreat. Jump to slip space. Get us out of here. His navigation officer worked frantically. Slip space drive charging. 10 seconds to jump. 5 seconds. 3 seconds. 1 second. The Eternal Dawn's mass driver fired. A single tungsten rod. 30 meters long and moving at 4% of the speed of light. Crossed the distance between the ships in a heartbeat. It hit the Veth flagship dead center. Warmaster or Krath did not have time to scream. He did not have time to think. The rod passed through his ship like it was made of paper. The flagship did not explode. It was simply erased. Torn apart at the atomic level. Where the most feared ship in the Veth fleet had been, there was only spreading dust. The remaining Veth ships ran. 23 of them escaped into slipspace. They fled so fast they did not even try to collect escape pods. They just ran, leaving their dead behind. The Eternal Dawn stopped firing. The battle was over. It had lasted less than 5 minutes. On the bridge, Admiral Kang stood up and straightened her uniform. Status report. 24 Veth ships destroyed, Admiral. 23 escaped. Our shields are at 84%. No damage to the ship. No casualties among our crew. Kang nodded. Send a message to Kepler Station. Tell them the threat has been eliminated. Begin rescue operations immediately. Yes, Admiral. She walked to the viewport and looked out at the debris field. So much destruction. So many lives ended. She did not feel joy. She did not feel pride. She just felt tired. But when she looked at Kepler Station, still standing against the stars, she felt something else. She felt like a human being. She felt like she had done what humans were meant to do. Protect the innocent. Punish the wicked. And never, ever leave their own behind. They thought no help was coming, until the Titan-class human warship thundered into Viewport 5. The first shuttle from the Eternal Dawn landed in Kepler Station's main hangar. The doors opened, and medical teams rushed out. They carried boxes of medicine, food, water, and blankets. Behind them came engineers with tools and replacement parts for the dying shield generators. The people of Kepler Station watched in silence. After 14 days of fear, they could not believe their eyes. Help was here. Real help. Not a dream. Not a wish. Real people with real supplies and real hope. A young mother walked forward slowly. Her son held her hand tight. She stopped in front of one of the medical officers and started crying. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for coming." The medical officer, a kind-faced woman named Bei Yunji, put her hand on the mother's shoulder. "You are safe now. All of you. We are here. The dam broke. People rushed forward, laughing and crying and hugging the rescue teams. Children ran around the shuttles, touching them to make sure they were real. Old people sat down on the floor and wept with relief. In the medical bay, Nurse Choi Minji greeted the incoming medical team. They brought fresh supplies, medicine for the sick, food for the hungry, warm blankets for children who had been cold for too long. Little June ran up to her. Nurse Minji, Nurse Minji, the angels are here. They brought candy. Minji laughed. It was the first real laugh she had made in 2 weeks. Yes, they are here. And I think you deserve all the candy you want. In engineering, Chief Han Sung-woo watched as Eternal Dawn engineers began repairing the shield generators. They worked fast and knew exactly what to do. In 2 hours, they had the shields running better than before. Lee Yuna sat on a crate, eating a hot meal for the first time in days. Chief, she said with her mouth full, does this mean we are going to live? Sung-woo smiled. His old, tired face softened. Yes, Yuna, we are going to live. Sergeant Baek Do-hyun stood in the security center, finally letting himself rest. He pulled out the photo of his wife and daughter and looked at it for a long time. I am coming home, he said to the photo. I promise. I am coming home. On the command deck, Admiral Kan Ji-ae met Commander Park Ji-na face to face for the first time. The Admiral had come aboard personally to see the station and its people. Ji-na stood at attention and saluted. Admiral Kang, welcome aboard Kepler Station. What remains of it? Kang returned the salute. Then she did something unexpected. She stepped forward and hugged Ji-na tight. You did well, Commander, she said. 14 days against 47 warships. You should be proud. Ji-na did not know what to say. She had expected formal words, official reports. Not a hug, not kindness. I was just doing my job, she managed to say. No, you were doing more than that. Kang stepped back and looked at her with respect. You could have surrendered. You could have saved yourself and let the Veth have what they wanted. Instead, you chose to fight. You chose to protect something bigger than yourself. That is not just duty. That is something more. They walked together to the observation deck. Through the viewport, the Eternal Dawn hung in space like a guardian. Its running lights were steady and calm. Shuttles flew back and forth between the ship and the station, carrying supplies and people. Can I ask you something, Admiral? Gina said, Of course. Why? Why build ships like the Eternal Dawn? Why spend so much time and money on something so massive? We could have built 100 smaller ships instead. Kang was quiet for a moment. She looked at the great warship, then at the stars beyond it. Do you know why humans spread across the galaxy, Commander? Gina shook her head. Because we could not stop ourselves. We are curious. We are brave. We are foolish. We see a distant star and think, I wonder what is there. We send our families to live on stations like this one, far from Earth, far from safety. We chase dreams across the void. She turned to face Gina. But that creates a problem. Our people are spread too far, too thin. When danger comes, help is often too far away. People die waiting for rescue that never arrives. We could not accept that. We refuse to accept that. Kang looked back at the Eternal Dawn. So we built the Titan class. Not for conquest. Not for glory. We built them as a promise. A promise that no matter how far our people go, they will never be alone. Never be forgotten. Never be abandoned. If you are human, if you wear our flag, if you call Earth your home, then we will come for you. We will cross any distance. We will fight any enemy. We will burn fuel and spend lives and break the laws of physics if we have to. Because you are ours. And we protect what is ours. Gina felt tears running down her face again. She did not try to stop them. "That is beautiful," she said softly. "That is human," Kang replied. "We are not the strongest species in the galaxy, not the smartest, not the oldest. But we have something other species do not understand. We care, not just about ourselves, but about each other. About strangers we have never met. About children we will never know. We care so much that we build 2-kilometer warships just to make sure no one feels alone in the dark." She put her hand on Gina's shoulder. "You held this station with nothing but courage and duct tape. You kept 2,300 people alive when anyone else would have given up. That is what makes humans special, Commander. Not our ships, not our weapons, our hearts. Our stubborn, stupid, beautiful hearts that refuse to quit." Gina wiped her eyes and straightened her back. "What happens now, Admiral? Now we take you home. We will bring more ships to protect the station while repairs are finished. The Veth will not be back. After today, they will think twice before attacking humans again. And you," Kang smiled, "you will take some time to rest. See your family. Remember what peace feels like. And the Kepler anomaly? The thing the Veth wanted? We will study it carefully. Figure out what it is. Make sure it does not fall into the wrong hands. But that is a problem for another day. Today is for celebrating. Today is for living." The two women stood together at the viewport. Below them, the people of Kepler Station were gathering in the main plaza. Someone had started playing music. People were dancing, laughing, holding each other close. Little June was there, eating candy and smiling. Nurse Minji was dancing with one of the rescue workers. Chief Sungwoo was asleep on a bench, finally at peace. Sergeant Do-heen was talking to his family on a video call, tears streaming down his face as he saw his wife and daughter for the first time in months. Dr. Yoon. Hannah found Gina later that evening. The scientist looked exhausted but happy. "Commander, I just wanted to thank you for everything." Gina shook her head. "I did not do anything special. I just did what any of you would have done." "That is not true. You gave us hope when there was none. You made us believe we could survive. Without you, we would have fallen apart long before the eternal dawn arrived." Gina looked out at the celebration, at the people she had fought so hard to protect, at the families and scientists and engineers who had trusted her with their lives. "We all did this together," she said. "Every single person on this station. We all held on together." Hannah smiled and nodded. Then she went to join the celebration. Gina stayed at the viewport a little longer. She watched the eternal dawn floating among the stars. She thought about everything that had happened. The fear, the despair, the moment when she thought all hope was lost, and then the thunder, the impossible arrival, the promise kept. She put her hand on the cold glass and spoke quietly to the universe. "Thank you for sending them. Thank you for not letting us die alone." This time, the universe answered, not with words, but with the steady lights of the eternal dawn, with the laughter echoing through the station, with the warmth of being alive. Humanity protects its own. That was not just a motto. It was not just words on a flag. It was a truth written in the stars. A promise kept across 47 light years. A vow that would never be broken. Because that is what humans do. They care. They fight. They love. They never give up. And they always come for their own.